Is Krishnadas there?
¿Cómo?
I guess.
No se escucha, están en silencio.
Is Krishnadas there?
I sent him a message.
He's not in the Zoom right now. I don't see him.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, they're the Oregonians. Krishna.
Bueno, acá estamos, previo a la iniciación de Shem. Yo lo digo en castellano para el público que después va a escuchar en castellano.
Kishori Gopi. Where are
Hare
you?
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
I'm in
Krishna.
Vermont.
Oh, Vermont.
I'm in Vermont. We have part of our Sangha here, all big fans of Jen Page, and we have a Sangha gathering tonight and a kirtan later, but we were hoping to get to bear witness to this really monumental day. With your permission.
I'll think about it. Yeah, I'm really happy that you're all there. It's great to see all of you.
Thank you. We're so grateful to be here and to be in your presence. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. There's Devala and Sripati from Louisiana. Sarvatma. So, I guess we're just waiting for the Diksha girl. Maybe you could introduce the people from Vermont.
Absolutely. Here, we'll start right here. I'm Melanie. Nice to meet you. Melanie Pope.
Srinivas.
Allison Chalnick. Aaron. Martine. Amy. Hi, Melanie.
It's great to meet all of you. What part of Vermont are you in?
We're in Burlington, so it's northern Vermont.
Oh, I know. That would have been my guess, Burlington.
Yeah,
That's
the
where
happening, most happening part.
Yeah, the University of Vermont is there, isn't it?
Yeah, UVM. Have you been here before, Maharaj?
I think I've passed through, but I just sort of studied geography. Because I'm always dreaming about spreading Krishna consciousness. Hey.
Well, we would love to have you.
Thank you very much. I'll who has your contact information?
Oh, yeah, Miss Jen Page for the next 50 minutes does.
Okay.
Haribol.
Hey, Haribol. Oh, by the way, there's a girl named Cheryl. Is she here? Because she may have entered on the old link, and so I wanted to make sure she has the new link.
Kishori, I may have sent the wrong one in our WhatsApp, but
I'll send it again in the WhatsApp.
Thank you so
much. Okay,
so
you have the right one, right? The later one that because I originally sent one, but then I realized that's not my job. So then I asked Nalini. By the way, Nalini is from Argentina. That's hey, wave, Nalini, saluda.
Sí, saludé a todos. Tengo un colega acá argentino, Atma, también es de acá.
And Sarvatma's there, a veteran kirtan devotee. Oh.
we have a crew here, our Krishna West crew, all sorts of friends here. We have Allie and Cameron and Taryn and Sue Ball is here. And Deborah, Krishna Archana. We are ready to go.
Hey, how about the stars of the show, June and Jack?
There they are. Give a wave. Thank you guys.
So thank you all for coming. It's the greatest pleasure to see the servants of Krishna. And also Panchali, is there Panchali? Make some identifying gesture.
Oh, there she is.
That is Panchali. Panchali is one of the most important leaders of Krishna West. She manages all of the book publication and basically manages everything. So, and I won't tell you our private jokes, but so it's really great to see everyone. It's it really gives me great hope to see so many sincere spiritual, well, everyone's a spiritual soul, but so many sincere souls who are devoting themselves to Krishna. It's the greatest happiness to see the servants of Krishna. So, without further ado, so I'm going to, the way I do these things is sort of following Prabhupada, and that is, Prabhupada actually did some remote initiations in 1971. You guys remember, right? 71. Anyway, in 1970, that was a joke. In 1971, I was a householder and a I was the first president of ISKCON Gainesville, Florida. Of course, there was no Alachua then. And I mean, Alachua existed, but there was no Alachua devotee community. And Prabhupada came. He came to Gainesville. And he did initiations, but because time didn't permit, because he had done so many preaching programs, he chanted on the beads and gave people their names. And then after we'd taken him to the airport in Jacksonville, then we actually did the initiation ceremony. So Cheryl, oh, you made it. I was concerned about you because I saw it said that I was afraid you were on the wrong link. So thank you all very much for coming. It really is, there's no greater happiness than to see the devotees of Krishna. So I'm going to explain a little bit about this initiation. And it's so nice that so many people came. Everyone loves Jen. I think it's impossible not to love Jen. So of course, I've explained this many times, so if this is a rerun for you, just tolerate it. It's but as I explain in the Gita Guide, that book, I actually wrote that book in Santa Monica, California. I spent a year in Santa Monica because it was the last year of my mother's life, and she was in an assisted care facility in Santa Monica, and so I felt I owed her that, since I had left home and joined a dangerous cult. So one thing that I explain in the Gita Guide is that when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Jejata mam prapadyante, as all people approach me, literally. I think it's translated, the verb prapad is often the verb used to surrender, like mam prapadyate, but pra means forth, like to go forward. And pra is, by the way, we still have that in English in the prefix pro, as in progress or proceed. So that English suffix pro, of course, is basically Sanskrit. So it's pra, and then pad means to go. We still have that in English also, because from the word pad, to go, you get the word pada, foot, and we still have that. in English words like podiatrist, foot doctor. Actually, there's Sanskrit everywhere in English if you just know what to look for. So Krishna says, as everyone, literally, it literally means to go forth or to approach. And Krishna says, as everyone approaches me, I reciprocate. And even says, Jai jata mam prapadyante tam tataiva. Tata means in that way, or thus. And Krishna says tataiva, which means exactly in that way. So Krishna's emphasizing the symmetry that we approach him in a certain way, and then he says, okay, that's a game you want to play, we'll play that game. And of course, so if one is trying to devote oneself to Krishna, then he reciprocates with that. So in any case, reciprocity, because in a sense, the essence of initiation is this cosmic and ultimately divine principle of reciprocity. If you think about it in a good relationship, friendship, marriage, in good relationships, there must be reciprocity. I remember there was an old song, forgive me, this is a song from the late 60s, or no, late 50s, early 60s. It was called Since I Fell for You by Lenny Welch. Anyway, he sang it. And so the opening line is, and may seem a little tacky, like a late 50s pop song, but it's actually to the point. And so the opening lines are, when you just give love and never get love, you'd better let love depart. Jen, you must know that. You're the music entity here. So, and then of course, we're going to do your piece also. So if you think about it, in marriage, in friendship, in the social contract, where in a sense, when you agree to be a law-abiding citizen, to pay your taxes, obviously as little as possible, but still within the legal limit. So when you agree to pay your taxes, when you stop at the red light and go at the green light, that's all reciprocal, because you're entering into a social contract in which you're provided all kinds of services. There's a police force, there are street lights, there are public facilities, colleges, there are all kinds of public facilities. And then, so society is offering all these things, and then you reciprocate. As we know, we live in an age of sort of exaggerated and basically dysfunctional individualism. This is a very interesting point, because nowadays, and this goes back to John Locke, honk if you realize that John Locke got it wrong. But anyway, John Locke was in the 1600s, he was a philosopher, and he had an extraordinary influence on the fathers of the American Revolution. The people that kind of invented this country were very strongly influenced by John Locke. And so, among other things, I won't go into all of his philosophy, but he was very famous for his idea, which was very revolutionary at the time, that we are basically born free. We are basically born free, and we enter into a social contract. We agree to allow governments to govern us only as long as they do their job well and they are actually holding up their part of the social contract. But our original nature is that we are free. Now, you could say that, however, we are free when we do our duty. Just like if you lawfully pay your taxes, if you obey the traffic laws, if you don't go out and harm someone. In other words, if we don't commit crimes, then we remain free. But if you think about it, you're born into a family. I know I was very fortunate. I had very good, loving parents. Didn't quite make the bhakti curve, but they were really excellent parents. And so there's a tremendous debt there. When I just think of my mother, who was actually very, very intelligent, and it's amazing what she did in her life, but very good. Anyway, raising children, driving them here. Anyone who has a kid knows, or just think back at what you did to your parents. And so, I think someone wants to come to this program. 1 second, let me see. Leela. I'm just going to.
Lila from Gainesville?
Yep.
Okay, I can
She,
stop.
yeah, send her the link.
Okay.
She's managing the actually the Bhakti Institute house. So we have debts to our parents, we have debt to our society. You've heard it so many times, especially, at patriotic events, but it's actually true that thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Americans literally gave their lives for us. The reason we're free to have a Hare Krishna program and we're not going to be, I don't know, punished in some terrible medieval way is because people fought for our freedom. People fought and gave their lives. A lot of people died knowing that they were doing it for people they would never meet, like us. I mean, the people who, all kinds of people, not only your parents, their parents. I mean, we have so many debts. What about our debt to trees? I mean, it's serious. They give us oxygen. So there actually is a cosmic debt to trees. And so, interestingly, in the past, for thousands of years, people understood that we're born with obligations, we're born with debts. Now everyone thinks they're just born with rights. That's fine. You can claim all your rights as long as you don't exploit the people that did so much for you. But if you do take advantage of all that's been done for you, all the wisdom, I mean, Prabhupada literally risked his life and ultimately sacrificed his life traveling around the world when he shouldn't have, health-wise, so that there could be an international society for Krishna consciousness. And so the notion that we're born with debts, obligations that have to be fulfilled, and a successful life is not just demanding your right so you can, spend your life in the most frivolous, hedonistic ways because that's your right. And if you think about it logically, and ultimately this is getting to the guru-disciple relationship. So I actually remember where I am, despite my age, and what the topic is. So we're just taking the scenic route. By the way, where are we? I'm just kidding. So, so logically, and now there's just philosophy. I got to say, there's this really funny cartoon. In America, there's this habit where professors at universities, they put up like funny things on their office doors. So I did my undergraduate work at UCLA. I did world religions as my major, and it was in the same area where the philosophy department was. So one professor had a cartoon, like little thing on his door. It's a courtroom scene, and one of the lawyers is so furious, the veins are bulging out of his neck, and he's like, he's just completely furious, and he points to the other lawyer. And he says, philosophy, the last resort of a scoundrel. And so, but actually, that's actually what Prabhupada would call word jugglery. But in any case, what I mean to say is that logically, philosophically, every right entails, that means logically requires a duty. As soon as you claim a right, someone else has a duty. For example, if you say, I have a right to free speech within boundaries, that means other people have a right, have a duty to protect your right. For example, if you are being unlawfully silenced or prevented from speaking, then it's the government's job to preserve and protect your free speech. Every right entails a duty. But nowadays, everyone thinks that I only have rights and everyone else has duties toward me. which is one of the more dysfunctional aspects of America today. But in any case, we're born with duties. And so when you earn your rights by performing your duties, it's a type of reciprocation. It's a social contract. And so Krishna even says, Krishna talks about this, by the way, in the Gita. You can read the Gita guide. So now we'll pause for an infomercial. That's a joke. Anyway, so I mean, there's this one amazing verse in the Bhagavad Gita. It's really an amazing, I love this verse, which I talk about in the Gita guide, where Krishna says, evam pravartitam chakram, which a very literal translation would be, thus a wheel has been made to turn. And of course, wheel, you could also say cycle, because think of a bicycle, it has two wheels, tricycle. So Krishna says that evam pravartitam chakra. Chakra means it can be, anything in that shape. It can be a wheel, a cycle. So Krishna says without going into all the Sanskrit grammar, a wheel has been made to turn. And nanuvartya tiha jaha, and one who does not keep the wheel turning. Aghayur, their ayur, like Ayurveda. Ayur literally means duration of life. So Ayurveda is knowledge of how to keep your life going. So Agha, and Agha means a sin or offense. Like there was one demon that attacked Krishna called Aghasura, the sin demon. Anyway, it's funny. There are all kinds of interesting words. Oh, waiting for host. Oh, could someone let Leela in? Who's the host? Someone must be the host.
Yo soy the host, pero Lina no está entrando.
Let me just see. I'll tell her.
Ahí está.
Okay. So, I mean, think of it. It's like, say you go into a store and you take a lot of merchandise and don't reciprocate with the merchant by paying for it. It's called shoplifting. And apparently this happens so often at Walmart that they have a special section of the store with rooms just for shoplifters. But anyway, so I mean, it's a crime. An agha can mean a crime, an offense. If you take the merchandise, don't pay for it. If you are in a relationship and someone is giving you their love and you don't reciprocate that, if they are being considerate of you and you're not considerate, that's an offense. Krishna says in the Bhagavatam that the greatest offense for which one gets the worst punishment is if you had good parents and then when they're older and need you, you don't show up for them. Krishna says that's a great offense. So if you think about it, reciprocation with friends, in marriage, with parents, with society, with your community, reciprocation is what it's the foundation of civilization. It's the foundation of a civilized life, and it's also the foundation of spiritual life. And so that's why I've come to the point now, it's the foundation of spiritual life. Because when Krishna says that I reciprocate with you, Krishna is doing everything for us. He's given us life or maintains our life, everything. I mean, the fact that we can walk upright, actually amazing that a lot of people in this world can still walk upright, considering their level of consciousness. Anyway, so, the fact that we are human, everything depends upon these reciprocations. And the guru-disciple relationship is exactly such a reciprocation. It's not just this cushy job to be a guru where everyone just kind of gives you things. It's actually, I mean, the guru actually has a sacred obligation to the disciples. I mean, the first obligation of the guru is to actually set the example, not to set the example. I mean, sorry, set the example. I thought I would give you, I mean, people call me Acharya Dave. Sounds like a cowboy movie. Around these parts, they call me John. Anyway, but what do you expect? I grew up in Hollywood, in LA. So in 1978, I was beginning my illustrious guru career. And I think I was like 4 weeks into it or something, still breathing. And I went to Gainesville, Florida, where I was supposed to be the guru. And so it was a Sunday, it was in Gainesville actually. And on Sunday, they would do a class in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so I sat down and gave the class. And in the purport, it was Adi Leela, chapter 1, text 46. And in the purport, Prabhupada said a bona fide guru is called Acharya Dev. So I thought, anyway, a bell rang in my head because it was direct instruction from Prabhupada that a bona fide guru is called Acharya Dev. So I thought, okay. So I thought I'd explain the word Acharya Dev. Nowadays, it's common to call sannyasis, for example, Maharaj, which means great king. Actually, you can see how Latin, in relation to Sanskrit, Maharaja in Sanskrit would just mean Magna Rex, which means great king. So the word Acharya comes from a Sanskrit root char, C-A-R, pronounced like C-H. And it means to move or to act. I mean, we have the same synonym thing in English. We say like get moving. I mean, it doesn't mean you're supposed to, do something, move your body. It means you're supposed to do something, right? Get moving. So the same thing in Sanskrit, char means to move and also to act. And so then if you put the prefix achara, and lengthen the second A, it means like conduct or behavior. Just like, for example, your mother probably said to you, behave yourself, behave. So technically you could say, well, actually anything I do is behavior. So I am behaving, but that's not the point. It's behavior in the sense of good behavior, like behave. And so it's the same thing in Sanskrit. Achara can mean simply behavior, but it means in the sense of good behavior. And then when you put the Y in, acharya, the Y gives it a gerundive meaning anyway. No more grammar terms. What it means is acharya means that something which is behaviorable. In other words, proper behavior, the behavior that you should do. So it gives it this sense of how you should behave, acharya. And therefore it comes to mean Kumi is Leela here? Where is Leela? She still hasn't made it. Huh?
Está.
Oh, Leela's where? Trying to get Leela in. Oh, there she is. Of course she's here. So acharya means a teacher, as Prabhupada said, teaches by example. In other words, someone who has good conduct and therefore and is a proper teacher. And then deva, which we have in English also in words like divine, from the Sanskrit div, divine. It just means a god, but it's used in more recent Sanskrit. More recent means like maybe the last 1,000 years or so. That's modern Sanskrit. So when you put the word deva as a suffix at the end of a word, it's like in English saying spiritual. So like, for example, guru. I mean, in India, if someone teaches you how to, I don't know, how to bake bagels in India, that's your guru, that's your bagel guru. Or if someone teaches you, like someone's your wrestling coach, I mean, people call their wrestling coaches Guruji. So, but if you specifically mean a spiritual teacher, you indicate spiritual by putting the suffix deva. Like Guru Deva means a spiritual teacher, or Acharya Deva means a spiritual professor, spiritual teacher. So that's what the word means. Anyway, so in the relationship between the guru and the disciple, both of them take it very, very seriously. As in every relationship, serious relationship, there must be reciprocation. People take each other seriously. They honor their relationship. They do their duty. They show up for the other person. And so that reciprocation, where there's mutual dedication, that really is the essence of every good, healthy relationship. Whether it's in marriage or between friends or guru disciple, parents and children, citizens and a reasonable country. So that's what this is. It's a reciprocal relationship in which both parties have sacred duties, and the duties are sacred because they're duties ultimately to Krishna. Just like in marriage, the secret of a good marriage is to never think that the other person belongs to you, and to always remember that the other person belongs to Krishna. So if in relationships, whether it's marriage or friendship, whether we're serving together, if I can see you as an eternal servant of Krishna, and I understand that my duty is to do everything in my power to help you to serve Krishna, and you are doing the same for me, that is a real spiritual relationship. And the purpose of ISKCON, as Prabhupada founded it, is to create this network of loving friendships between people, so that everyone who has understood the glory of Krishna, especially as he comes as Lord Chaitanya, that we can all help each other with great sincerity and love. We can help each other to serve Krishna. And a society like that, a society which is, well, cemented is kind of a gross image, but a society which is held together by mutual bonds of love and friendship and voluntary obligation, where everyone loves everyone else and everyone is trying to help everyone else. And to be fair here, some people definitely can only be loved in two ways: at a distance or philosophically. So because it's also a principle that we should associate with people who are actually favorable. I mean, so in ISKCON, if we can have more and more and more devotees who are looking for that, who are in the market, to use a crass capitalistic metaphor, people who are really looking for loving relationships which are authentic, which are centered on Krishna. And if you get a bunch of those people together, it's very powerful. As I always say, the Sankirtan movement is a team sport. If you're playing football, you can't show up alone in the field and, yeah, I'll take on the other team. No, you won't. You'll be lucky to get off the field alive. So Sankirtan is actually a team sport. It's a family endeavor. It's a family business. Because Krishna, 3 times in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is referred to as the father and the mother, actually once of the universe. Krishna himself says, Arjuna says to Krishna, Krishna says, Pitaham, the father, Pitaham asya jagato. I am the father of this world, Mata, and the mother, Dhata, the creator or the ordainer, it also means, and Pitamaha, the grandfather. And it's understood, the grandmother, everybody. So it's interesting. In English, we say grandfather. In Sanskrit, they say father grand. They say Pitamaha. Anyways, little linguistic thing. So we are all, and then of course, thank God, it's not just patri et filio, father and son. It's also mother and daughter. So we there's only one family in the universe. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, obviously there are other families, and we do have obligations, and people have done a lot for us. We should not be jerks. We should actually reciprocate, not just sort of be inappropriate with our biological families in the name of some transcendental principle. So we should obviously be kind to others, especially those who have done a lot for us and who care about us. So those things exist. However, ultimately, there's only one family, which is the universe. I mean, and all universes. So that's what a Vaishnav sees, that we all belong to the same family, not legally, not biologically, but factually, all of us are a family. And therefore, a Vaishnav community, like that great program we have in Chicago, a Vaishnav community and a Vaishnav society, we're supposed to be showing the world that, don't worry, even though we're Hare Krishnas, we're still normal. We always fight with each other. I mean, that's not what we're supposed to be showing. We're not supposed to be that kind of normal. We're trying to show that we're all actually one family, and we understand that, and we behave accordingly. It's interesting because there's all of these social justice movements now for equality, on this ground and that ground. And actually, by emphasizing people's bodies, they're dividing people more and more. The more you try to push this point that we are all our bodies, and there's different body groups, and everyone has to fight for their body group, whether it's race or gender, or ethnicity, whatever, it just balkanizes the earth. It turns basically everyone against everyone. And that's why there's more division now, probably since the Civil War, because of this extraordinary emphasis on people's bodily identity. So the real way to achieve equality, the real way to achieve a society where everyone acts appropriately to everyone else, is by raising people to a higher standard, not pushing people down into their bodily identity, which achieves the opposite result. It divides society more than ever. But by lifting people up and saying, it doesn't matter what kind of body you have. It doesn't matter. It's like you can't just declare at a meeting like this, okay, everyone who has a blue shirt on gets to eat first. And anyone that has, let's say, like a green shirt, we're not going to serve you. I mean, that would be absurd. And it's equally absurd to judge people by their bodies. So we can actually bring peace to society. And this is relevant to the initiation, because we are initiating people, first of all, because they deserve it. I mean, certainly Jen, actually, the Maya version of that is everybody loves Raymond. But actually everyone loves Jen. That's the spiritual version of it. So that's what we have to show the world. We can't just talk a good game and then we keep striking out. And so what that means is, Krishna Das, later I'll explain to you these baseball analogies. So it's, we actually have to show people that human beings, or their souls and human bodies, can live together in peace and harmony from all different backgrounds, all different body types, because we see that we are all eternal souls. As souls, no one is better than anyone else. No one is more dear to Krishna than anyone else. Everyone is equally a soul, part of Krishna. That's the way to get over all these stupid ideas like racism or sexism. I mean, the way to get past all that is by realizing we're not our body. We're all eternal souls. It doesn't matter what your SAT score was. It doesn't matter, how fast you can run 100 yards. It doesn't matter. I mean, none of that stuff. It doesn't matter how much money you have, what kind of car is in your garage, what neighborhood you live in, what kind of body type you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It's not the point. The point is that we are all souls, and we should fight to get everyone to understand that. And if a person really understands that we are all equally eternal souls, we are equally dear to God, we have ultimately equal rights because we're all equally part of Krishna. That's the solution, not just bashing everybody over the head with their bodily identity. So the Krishna conscious movement is so much needed. So good old Jen getting drafted today into the army. Actually, she's already in the army. And her kids there, hey, June and Jack. Hey, June and Jack, hope I'm not boring you too much. I mean, inevitably I'm going to bore the kids, but if I can not bore them too much, that'll be a victory. So, so we're all grateful to Jen. Actually, we're all grateful to her because for being a great mother, a great wife, a great devotee. And as you will see in a little while, a great musician. So I guess we'll proceed to any questions on these points. The world really needs you, all of you. Yesterday, I had a really nice little talk, by Zoom with these 4 or 5 young devotees from an Indian background. They're Americans and intelligent. They're all going to have, successful professional careers. And I kept telling them what Prabhupada used to say, that that all of you, the younger generation, you're really the future hope. It's there's a serious possibility that you will all live longer than me, and so actually all of you are the future hope. If the world has any hope, it's all of you. And so to one to whom much has been given, much is expected. So we have this extraordinary blessing, this extraordinary gift that, we've been saved. We've been given this perfect spiritual knowledge and a perfect process to realize it. And so the real way to accept this is to accept it seriously for yourself and to be very enthusiastic to just light up the planet. Spread Krishna consciousness. I won't go into my stump speech about the need for Krishna West. So,
Hay 2 preguntas de
2 questions. Where are they? Where are they? They're in the chat.
Atma.
In the chat?
No, están conectados. Atma y Leslie.
Okay. So Leslie, are you here? Oh, you want to ask your question?
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Oh,
thank
there's
you.
right there. Yes.
I don't want to delay the festivities much, but on the verse in chapter 4 that you were talking about, the second sentence has always been something that has brought me a lot of relief. And as you were finishing up your what you were talking about, it sort of rounded out the verse. And in your translation, you say,
Which verse number is that? What verse
For-
number is that?
4:11.
4:11. Okay, 1 second. Let's see.
And I have
Oh, right. Yeah, Prabhupada, of course.
yes. So the second part of the second part of the verse, human beings wholly follow my path, Partha. And Srila Prabhupada translates it, everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. And it just as Krishna.
Yeah, holy in all respects is sarvashaha. That's the word.
Sarvashaha. Thank you. And it's what you're talking about, that on one hand we have differences, but that there's some relief in knowing that everyone is on the path.
The differences are,
External.
Yeah, but also they provide happiness. Like what if you were living somewhere and every night for dinner there was like peas and corn and sourdough bread And that was a dinner, like for the rest of your life, that's going to be the dinner. And it's never going to be anything else. You know, you, after a while, you'd want to scream. And so, I mean, the variety, when we look at the variety of people and the variety of devotees, it shows us how wonderful Krishna is. Because we see all these different people, you know, whatever type of body you've got, and everyone trying to love Krishna, trying to serve Krishna. So it's just a revelation of the glory of Krishna. Imagine there's an unlimited, almost an innumerable number of souls. That's actually sounds a little contradictory, innumerable number. But anyway, there are innumerable souls. There are innumerable souls, and everyone is unique. I mean, even though there's like almost an infinite number of souls in all the universes and in the spiritual world, no one is exactly like you. And so every one of us, every soul is unique. And as we start to serve Krishna and remove these coverings that are keeping us away from our real self and keeping us away from other people, every soul is unique. Every soul is beautiful. Every soul contributes something to reality that no other soul can give. And so, of course, some people are not quite there, so they're sort of, you know, behaving in other ways. And you wish there was no one quite like them. But as we become purified, then every one of us is uniquely beautiful. Every one of us is beautiful in a way that no one else in millions of universes is. And so, but go ahead.
It's such a beautiful explanation. Thank you. And I mean, those souls that aren't behaving in that way are on the path. So I guess we get
They
to,
are, because some of them just need to be whacked a few more times.
yeah,
And then,
been
you know, then
whacked.
they'll get it.
Thank you, Acharya Dave.
Hare Krishna. So, Sarvatma, did you want to ask something?
Not add, just ask a question. As we see the relationships in the material world, whether they may be among spiritualists, they're also tinged, one can say, with frailties and fallibilities, and is the relationship with the guru, and I'm particularly talking about the Diksha Guru, subject to breakup or change of pace, or the guru is not interested in the service of a disciple, or falls down. You know, how does it go? It remains a relationship even after a breakup. How does it work?
There's an old song by Neil Sedaka, "Breaking Up is Hard to Do." Anyone else remember that song?
We are not that old.
Okay, so if a yeah, I'm a treasure chest of old mundane nostalgia. Anyway, so if the guru and disciple are both ladies or gentlemen, then you do your duty. And it's not that a bona fide guru demands that you always, you know, I don't know, wait on him or her, because women can be gurus. It's not that a bona fide guru just, you know, makes all these. It's just that, I mean, it's like parents and children. You know, they may go through a time when the relationship is a little challenging and they have trouble understanding each other. But, you know, if you're parents, they're your children. And if you're children, they're your parents. And so I think actually, like, breaking the relationship is only if one of them just does something very inappropriate, where it's just, you know, they're kind of disqualified themselves. And that doesn't include things like I don't like the way he looked at me or something. So familiarity breeds contempt, and actually to be a bona fide guru, one has to have the ability to see, or at least remember, that the disciple is actually eternal soul. I've never rejected a disciple. I mean, inevitably, there are people that leave. I mean, Prabhupada had disciples that rejected him. I mean, which sort of gets some kind of trophy for sheer stupidity. But so I think that yeah, I think that if people are ladies and gentlemen, even if there's some difficulty, they just act like ladies and gentlemen. And if someone needs help elsewhere, then I mean that's the way ISKCON is. I mean, all of us are free to appreciate and benefit from the association of everyone else. I mean, a bona fide guru is not jealous. And so everyone is free. However, if someone can accept a bona fide guru who actually does his or her job properly, then that's a great fortune.
But if the guru is unable to, let's say, continue to follow the principles or act as a guru, is the relationship still an eternal relationship of disciple and guru?
Not so much. I mean, if the guru just can't do their job, then the guru should be a lady or gentleman and say, I can't do the job. And fortunately in ISKCON, it seems like almost always, because I mean, there are books written by Vaishnava acharyas like Narahari Sarkar and even Jiva Goswami Bhaktivinoda, and the fact that some people who take the position of guru can't quite finish the race, that's been happening for thousands of years. It's just inevitable that if you have so if it happens that someone is just not able to act in that capacity, then I mean, it still may be an eternal relationship because we're all going to the spiritual world, and so we're all going to the same place. Hey, I can just see and go up to a soul. Hey, didn't I see you in Oregon? So we're all going to the spiritual world, and I think we don't have to worry about these things. They're not really talked about that much. There's a very popular sport in ISKCON called speculation, where someone, even though there's no real even though there's no real statement in Shastra, people just kind of make something up, or I heard something. So Shastra doesn't really talk about this. And so and so therefore I think the real point is what Krishna says in the Gita to Arjuna, when Arjuna was a little discouraged, Nahi kalyana krit kasya durgating tata gachati, that one who does good things in this world is never goes to a bad place. Never. And so all we really have to worry about is just to be good souls. There's this great line from the latest Cinderella movie, but I forget the girl's name, but it was made about 7 or 8 years ago. I can't remember. Really good one. It's funny. I still kind of get teary sometimes when I see a good Cinderella movie. But anyway, so it's I saw this interview one time with Steven Spielberg, and they asked him, what do you think? Do you like these stories like Cinderella and Snow White? And Spielberg, he said, of course. I mean, that's where all the stories come from. I mean, not literal. Well, Krishna, actually, Krishna Lila, he has his own stories, but when the prince and Cinderella first meet, and she doesn't know he's the prince, and she's kind of admonishing him for wanting to kill an animal. He's actually out hunting, and she chastises him. What did this animal ever do to you? Why are you bothering this poor animal? It's very interesting. And so he's falling in love with her, and he says, yes, you're right. Of course you're right. And she says, yes, all we have to do is, what does she say? Be kind and do the right thing. just be kind, and he agrees. Anyway, they fall in love, and the rest, it's Cinderella. But that's all we have to do. I mean, it's right there, Cinderella Uvacha. It's just, all we have to do is just they're good stories. And when you add Krishna to them, they're great stories. But if we're just kind and mature and we have goodwill toward everyone, then it all works out. And obviously, if someone's, not qualified to fly a commercial jet, even though they have, they're a devotee, well, he's devotee, let him fly the jet. No, someone has to be qualified to do their job. So if someone's not qualified to be a guru, no hard feelings, but I think we have goodwill and we're kind. It sort of all works out.
Thank you.
Sure. So, any other question?
No se ve ninguna otra.
Okay, so without further ado, let's see. Nalini, make sure that that Jen is all paid up. That was a joke. That was a joke. Wouldn't that be funny if it came to that someday? But I'm sorry, our records show that. So, as I said, everyone loves Jen. And so well, first you have to do your vow. So, Jen, can you come forward?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for that.
Hey, Your Grace.
My vows are no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxicants. And also to chant 16 rounds of japa a day.
Yes, and Hare Krishna mantra, right?
Hare Krishna mantra. Maha
Yes, like they
mantra.
say in the plane. This flight is going to Chicago. If you're not going to Chicago, you should exit now. So, yes, it's actually chant Hare Krishna every day. So, okay, so to deal. Jen, because everyone loves Jen, I thought I would give her a name that means that everyone loves her. So the name is Jana-priya. Jana-priya Devi Dasi. I'll write it in the chat. There's actually, you're lucky you got one without any diacritic marks.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'll write it. Actually, you're the servant of Krishna, who everyone, or Radha, everyone ultimately loves them. So, and actually, both these words, Jana and Priya, we still have in English. So I thought I would explain that also. Like I said, English is full of Sanskrit. Jana, the word Jana in Sanskrit comes from a root Jan, which means to take birth, like Janmastami or Janma. And it also means that we have words in English like generate or Gentile, like the people, or gent, like a gent, a person. So all that is from Sanskrit Jana. And Priya, we also have in words like pleasure and pleasing. The R and the L kind of go back and forth. So Priya, so anyway, pleasure, pleasing, or love. And so you are a faithful servant and a sort of a transparent servant of Radha and Krishna, whom everyone ultimately loves, and that's why everyone loves you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How come the dog didn't say Hare Krishna?
She's very interested.
Oh, so Jana-priya, Devi Dasi, and Devi means that she's has a spiritual position even in this life. She's acting on the godly platform. That's Devi, and Dasi means servant of Radha and Krishna. So, would you like to entertain us?
I sure would.
We agreed that Jana-priya would play the air on the G string, one of the most famous Baroque pieces by Bach.
All right, let's see. Can you see me in the?
Any way you could come a little closer? Yeah, because if you could bring that stand over here, that way we could all see you.
Let's see. Then my.
Yeah, sort of tilt the screen.
How's that?
That's good.
And then can you hear?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Haribo. So thank you all very much for coming and blessing this occasion with your presence. And yes, I will say goodbye now. Hope to see you all again very soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Acharya Dev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We're so proud of you.
Love you.
We love you.
Love you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
so
so
much.
happy for you. Couldn't be a more fitting name. That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Jana-priya, Devi, Dasi.
Wow.
Perfect.
Heart flowing.
I have no words yet. Thank
Very
you guys.
Perfect.
Yes, such a beautiful name. And thank you for that violin. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Ave Maria. Thank you for being here. And
Oh.
Keshwa, and Christy, Leanne. Hi, you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Enjoy celebrating. Have a good time together.
For here with us.